We've all met someone like this. He's the life of the party, a dreamer with contagious energy and a magnetic optimism about the future. Yet behind the scenes, an exhausted partner is quietly managing his administrative life, paying the bills, chasing his invoices, and keeping the household from collapsing. Clinical psychologist Dan Kiley identified this constellation of behaviors as Peter Pan syndrome. The name draws from J.M. Barrie's famous character, a boy suspended in the air, forever fleeing the heavy, unglamorous gravity of growing up. In your 20s, this might look like a simple preference for adventure, but when a 30 or 40-year-old consistently lacks the internal tools to manage frustration, maintain their finances, or honor commitments, we see a stark gap between chronological age and emotional capacity. Clinicians view this gap as a profound developmental arrest. Seeking absolute freedom creates a specialized kind of trap. Without the structure of accountability, the individual becomes locked in a psychological prison where no real progress is possible. Long before modern psychology popularized the term, Carl Jung explored this phenomenon through the lens of analytical psychology. Jung used the term Puer Aeternus, the eternal boy, to describe an archetype within the psyche that remains eternally youthful and unbound. This figure presents a bright facade of visionary creativity and spontaneity. However, this light carries a dark shadow, a pervasive, paralyzing fear of any situation that might lead to entrapment or genuine commitment. To the eternal boy, the normal adult life of routine and responsibility represents a mediocre, soul-crushing weight that must be evaded to protect his spirit. The tragedy of the Puer Aeternus is that his flight from reality eventually consumes him. By refusing to ground himself in the world, he sacrifices a real life for a fantasy of what he could be. This developmental stall often begins in childhood, frequently triggered by parenting that is overprotective to the point of being restrictive. Jungians call this the devouring mother dynamic. It describes any caregiver who systematically shields a child from every danger, every consequence, and every potential failure, effectively suffocating their growth. When an adult is raised without the experience of small, manageable failures, they develop a paralyzing terror of the real world. This diagram helps explain the individual's internal choice. On the left, we see the infinite, branching paths of potential. On the right, the singular, linear path of reality, which eventually hits a roadblock. Potential is comfortable because it feels infinite. Reality is terrifying because it requires hitting limits. Staying in a state of uncommitted potential acts as a defense mechanism against failure. But as the branching paths fade, we see that the singular path of reality is the only one that actually moves a human life forward in time. Overprotection fails to keep a child safe. Instead, it ensures they grow into a biological adult who possesses the psychological resources of an infant. A Peter Pan figure cannot sustain his lifestyle in a vacuum. He requires an external ecosystem to survive the practical demands of adulthood. This creates the Wendy dilemma, a partner or parent who steps in to absorb the administrative, financial, and emotional labor the Peter Pan refuses to carry. The relationship functions like this balance scale. For the Peter Pan to maintain his light, consequence-free freedom, his partner must sink under the weight of his unhandled responsibilities. This often becomes a circular system. The enabler may unconsciously derive their own sense of identity or worth from being the competent, indispensable savior of a person who is perpetually in crisis. Peter's sense of independence is a mirage. His freedom is entirely subsidized by the silent labor and mounting stress of the person enabling him. Every Peter Pan eventually hits a wall where chronological time outpaces his internal fantasy. The lengthening shadow of reality becomes impossible to ignore. At this stage, the individual realizes that avoiding choices doesn't actually preserve his possibilities. It simply allows time to narrow them by default. To resolve this, Jungian therapy suggests a psychic death. The individual must actively mourn and then abandon the boy archetype that has governed his life. This requires the difficult work of accepting hard limits, enduring the boredom of routine, and finally risking the pain of an actual failure in the real world. The goal is to take that youthful creativity and place it under the leadership of a structured, mature adult psyche. Choosing a specific set of responsibilities provides a ground that the eternal boy never had. This grounded existence allows a person to finally step out of the clouds and begin a life that is actually real.